I want to invite my colleague, the senior minister at First Presbyterian, Adrian Thorne, to have a word with our congregation. Adrian, welcome. Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you. It is such a pleasure to have you joining with us and as a welcome new addition to the clergy community in our neighborhood.
So good evening, Shabbat Shalom. Before you get nervous that this is the second sermon, Serge asked me to keep it brief. So I greet you with the joy of Abraham, our father in faith, and I want you to know what a gift it is to be journeying with the Brooklyn Heights Synagogue, to be deepening our connection, and to consequently be learning more about one another and about the God we love. On behalf of the First Presbyterian Church of Brooklyn, I bring you warm greetings from our clerk of session, Paul Austin, from the elders of First Church to Rabbi Serge, to Sue Gold, to your president, David Yaroslow, I hope I'm saying your last name right, to the leadership and the community of the Brooklyn Heights Synagogue. On this, the occasion of our second joint celebration of the life and witness of God's faithful servant, Martin Luther King, Jr. Salman Rushdie wrote a Booker Award-winning novel called Midnight's Children. I don't know how many people are familiar with it. But in that book, Rushdie proposes, in this fictional account, that 1,001 children born at the stroke of midnight when India gained her independence had special powers that linked them inextricably to their nation. These powers had the potential, he wrote, to be of great service, though not all the characters used their ability in noble or noticeably useful ways. Still, my imagination is captured this evening as we gather across faiths. It's captured by the idea that the times we are born into, the times that we live in, have the potential to affect our potential and capture our imaginations about what is possible in and within our own lives. What kind of world were you born into? Has it impacted you? Has it shaped you, inspired you, called you to do something that you cannot say no to? I was 8 months old when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. And his death for me, like so many others, shaped many things. The year was 1968, and the 39-year-old Dr. King was staying at the Lorraine Motel. He was in Memphis in support of striking sanitation workers. My father started his sanitation company, which remains in business today, 3 days before King was assassinated. A painting of Dr. King has hung in my parents' home all my life, and I told my parents when they passed, it's the only thing I want. I referenced King in my seminary entrance application over 10 years ago, so he plays a really vital part in my life. King, like us, was an ordinary person, but he took what was ordinary in himself and made of it something extraordinary. I believe we are all called to greatness of some sort. I believe that to be true, whether it is a small local greatness, a greatness in our home, in our family, or a huge global greatness. And King believed this greatness could only be achieved through prayer. So we at First Church Brooklyn are grateful to God to be with you tonight as God's beloved people, praying with words and songs for the great things God would have us do individually, but most especially as a community of believers. I'm eager to see the mischief God will get up to with us this year and in the years to come. King simply did not believe he could be an activist without also being a praying person of faith. For King, it was always prayer and activism, and he spoke of it often as a soul force. I'm grateful to Ruth Haley Barton for the following thoughts on King's idea of soul force. She writes, the sole force to which he often referred was the force of God-directed action, motivated by love, and emerging from the soul of a person who was in touch with the Spirit of God, witnessing with their spirit about things that are true. And King said this, to our bitterest opponents, we say, we shall meet your physical force with soul force. Do to us what you will, and we shall continue to love you. One day we shall win freedom, but not only for ourselves. We shall so appeal to your heart and conscience that we shall win you in the process, and our victory will be a double victory. In these troubling political times, the First Presbyterian Church of Brooklyn is grateful to be in relationship with the Brooklyn Heights Synagogue, meeting physical force and political force with soul force. May God bless us, may God strengthen us, and may God bless the witness we offer the good creation. Shalom.
Yes,